Welcome to the review of The Last Airbender McDonald's toys. That was my very, very average and lackluster Avatar Roku impersonation. I hope you guys approve of it. Anyways, now that Avatar The Last Airbender is on Netflix and subsequently The Legend of Korra, there has been a huge resurgence in popularity for the animated series. However, ironically, as a result, there has also been a huge resurgence in popularity of, well, not popularity in the positive light, but in the negative light, for The Last Airbender live-action movie as well. Ironically, though, there aren't any kind of reviews for The Last Airbender McDonald's toys that came out for it around the time that the movie came out. There's a few videos that show some of the toys that came out from McDonald's, but there's not any reviews that show all of the toys themselves. There's pictures online, but I thought I'd do everybody a favor and give an in-depth review of all of the toys individually that were released by McDonald's for the live-action The Last Airbender movie. So, without further ado, here we go. First off, we have our main character, Aang. Yes, this is not Aang. This is clearly Aang, okay? Get used to it. Anyways, he's a pretty decent figurine. This was all that came in his package. Well, actually, no, it isn't, but I'll get to that later. The figurine is pretty basic, doesn't have any accessories, but it is remarkably well articulated. I mean, he can move his arms that way, this way, back entirely. The joints are pretty impressive on this. They rotate as well. You know, his arm that's already bent and stuck in that bent position, that moves as well. It's not bad, honestly. They could have done a lot worse. I think his hips also rotate. That they do. So you can probably pull off a couple of decent poses with this. But one of the major highlights of this figurine, though, is you see how his arrow and eyes kind of look like they're clear and translucent? Well, there's a reason for that. Let me show you. Whoa. Yeah, exactly. He's in the Avatar state now. So you better stop making fun of him, or he's gonna punish you. All in all, I'd give this toy a 9 as far as... No, you know what? I'm gonna give it a 10. As far as McDonald's Happy Meal toys go, this is pretty decent. It has a decent likeness to Noah Ringer, the actor who plays Aang in the movie. And that little feature where you can shine light into the back of his head to make his tattoo glow and his eyes glow, that's pretty neat too, so I'm going to give it a 10. I like it. Next up is Aang's love interest for the entire cartoon series, although there's not really much of a blossoming love interest between them in the movie. I don't know if they were trying to, or if they just didn't think that it would be warranted given how rushed the movie feels. But anyways, here's Katara, played by Nicola Peltz, and it's not a bad figurine at all. There's no articulation in the legs, but there is articulation in the arms. She can move those up or down, but they don't have any joints, sadly. Her head is sadly fixed in place, so she can't rotate that. But it's not a bad figurine. I mean, there's some decent details on the cloth. You know, the patterns on there, pretty detailed. The face, I mean, it sort of looks like Nicola Peltz. There's only so much detail they can provide on a plastic piece of parchment like this. Now, some of you might notice this little ring around her. That's obviously water for her to bend, which is cool. It's translucent. However, it also has another feature. If you pull it off, it sticks into that peg coming out of her back. You see there? Yeah, very realistic. I'm sure a lot of girls her age have pegs sticking out of the back of her back, but here you go. Not only is the clear plastic water whip here an accessory for Katara, but can also be used as a bracelet as well. Obviously, a grown man like myself wouldn't be able to fit this without restricting circulation to my hand. However, a young girl could most likely wear this comfortably, and it would probably look pretty nice as a nice little plastic bracelet as far as those go. So altogether, I would say this Katara gets a 10 in terms of variety. The wristband accessory piece, which is also water, And the figurine itself is not bad, I have to say, despite it being tied to such a mediocre movie. It's pretty exceptional, so I'll give it a 9, only because there's not that much articulation in the legs. Or anywhere else, for that matter. Just want to warn you guys, this is going to be a long video. There are a lot of toys in this line. But anyways, next one up is Appa. And yeah, here's an up-close look at the character model for Appa. I don't know if they missed the points on coming off of his arrow here, or if it wasn't like that in the movie, I can't remember. But yeah, that's Appa. Kind of cute. Kind of looks like Appa from the show. Not bad. But it's not so much about capturing his likeness, it's the function of the toy that matters. Here we have Momo, very tiny Momo, and him and Appa fit together like 2 peas in a pod. You stick Momo into Appa's neck, and then you press the button on Appa's back. All bisons come with a button on their spine, of course. Not a lot of people know that. You press the button, and Momo takes off like a rocket. Sort of. Not a very far distance that he flies, but not too bad. I mean, kids are going to be playing with this in the car anyway, so they wouldn't really be able to go far with it anyhow. Not a bad figurine. The function is pretty fun, I guess. Detail on the characters isn't that great, but you know this is Momo, and you know this is Appa, so you can't be too picky. It's a free toy, after all. Not bad. I'll give it an 8. Huh! Oh. Sorry. I didn't know that was you, Zuko. You look like a monster. Anyhow, this is Dev Patel's Zuko from the movie, and his gimmick is this. He comes with this giant ring of fire. Shout out, Finding Nemo. And essentially, the purpose of the toy is for you to wind him back and sit him on the wheel, and supposedly he's supposed to spin the wheel and then move across the floor with it. I'm going to test that right now, just to see if it works. Alright, I've winded little Zuko boy up here with that little peg there that you twist, and now it's time to see if he moves like the wind. Yay! It sort of works. Those aren't the wheels spinning, that's Zuko screaming, by the way. Okay, and next up we have everybody's favorite warrior and leader, looking slightly paler than normal. Okay, I'll stop. Sokka. Now, his little gimmick is that he can throw a little boomerang that he comes with. And I'll show you that right now. Oops. Here's the boomerang he comes with. Kind of looks like the one from the movie, but also not really. And that boomerang piece fits right into this slot on his back. Let's see if I can get that in the image. Oops, sorry. It fits in like that. And what he's supposed to do, he's supposed to put his arm back, and there's a magnet in the boomerang and his hand, and he should grab onto it when he puts his hand back. And I don't think he throws it, but we're going to get to that. Okay, so he pressed this button on his back. Ah, look at that! He actually grabbed it. I cannot believe it. What a momentous occasion this is. Alright, now let's see if I can get him to throw it. Let go of it, Sokka. Let go! Okay, maybe if I flick him forward, he'll throw it. Okay, he threw it on the ground. That's not going to help. Alright, well, clearly, that's all this figurine was meant to do. But, it's kind of neat, and I suppose the detail in the figurine, as far as the likeness to Jackson Rathbone and his outfit, his boots and all that good stuff, I think that's good enough. And, but, due to the fact that he can't even throw the boomerang, I'd have to give him about a 6. in terms of this toy's fun factor. Sorry, Sokka. And here's our boy Aang again, looking a little bit different than before. Here you can actually see his eyes. Now, the reason he's posed like this is because he comes with a glider piece. I'm going to attach that to him right now. And here's Aang wearing the glider. Now, unfortunately, there's no bars on the glider for him to hold onto that go into his hands. The glider kind of just sticks into his back. Not very accurate to this show, but that's okay. We have to cut corners somehow. But I do have to say I like the detailing on the glider. Some of the designs on this glider don't exactly look appropriate, but if you're not of that age, you probably won't even notice. Anyways, despite that, it's a pretty decent design, and of course the gimmick here is that you're supposed to throw it and he's supposed to glide, just like in the show. Let's see if that's actually true. Okay, it's time to fly, Aang. Next up we have this fan. This fan is kind of neat. It has a holographic image of Katara, nickel pellets on it. Depending on which angle you hold it at, it shows a different image, of course, like typical holographic images do. The fan does collapse if you push on it. Collapse into a very handy and convenient size. And then, of course, it extends when you unfold it like this. Now, I have to say, I like the fan. It is very nice. It does have a nice little design on the back. And the holographic images are pretty cool, and they're of good quality. This looks like an Earth Kingdom symbol from the movie, which is ironic since it has Katara, who is a waterbender, on the image, but most likely this is inspired by the fans that the Kyoshi warriors use, and ironically they weren't even in the movie in the final cut, sadly. That might have made the movie just that bit better, but we'll never know. Anyways, I like it. It's a pretty decent looking fan, and it actually does work as a fan, so that's good to know too. One thing to note, however, this toy was obviously intended for girls specifically, because this toy comes in The Last Airbender bag that has a red design on it, or the logo and the text is in red. The other bags have the text in blue, meaning that these toys were primarily intended for boys. But I think that's a little unfair. What boy wouldn't want to have a nice little fan like that to cool himself off with on a hot day? Shame on you, McDonald's. Shame on you. Next up, we have the Rhino, which is what the Fire Nation soldiers ride in the show and in the movie. However, this one doesn't look anything like the rhinos from the show. It doesn't even have horns, so I can't really in good faith call this a rhino. However, that's neither here nor there. The whole point of the toy is to fling these two humongous fireballs using these big pieces here. Now, the unfortunate thing is these things don't stay in place when you bring them down, and this saddle, which looks like a button, doesn't function as a button at all. It's completely stuck in place. So basically you just pull these back, release them, and then they go forward, launching the fireballs that come with them forward. But of course, as you might know, this is very hard to set up with one hand since these won't stay down. So I'm going to do that first before I show you how they fire. Okay, here come the fireworks. 3, 2, 1. Next up, we have this fire streamer that comes with this handle here. This is also another one of the toys that is primarily intended for girls, but I can see a boy having fun with this too. Essentially, all you have to do is just take the handle and wiggle it around, I suppose. Maybe do a fancy interpretive dance with it, I guess, or pretend that you're shooting fire at somebody. Not really the best toy. I think it's very limited in its fun factor, and it heavily relies on your imagination. But other than that, I mean, the design is quite nice. The handle is very, very well made. I like the fire emblem on it too. And the pattern of the fire on the ribbon is pretty decent as well. But other than that, I can't imagine having much fun with this for very long. Next up, we have the Avatar The Last Airbender water cannon. Now, pretty simple mechanism. Basically, you just fully submerge the cannon in underwater. You pull on this plunger that sucks water into it, and then you simply push it out, and the water shoots out. It doesn't have an incredible distance. I tested it, and it goes about 5 feet. But I guess it would be fun to play with in the pool with your siblings or with your family. I do have to say, I really do like the design of the cannon. I mean, Aang being on the front here, he looks alright. Sorry, Aang. I keep making that mistake. It's almost as if that's what his name should have been the whole time. Anyways, his face doesn't look that great. He looks kind of in distress and very, very bothered by the fact that he was involved in the design of this toy, but other than that, he looks pretty good. I do like the engravings along the barrel, and this piece on the back with the flags and their respective emblems too, the ones that were kind of made exclusively for the movie. I have to say I like that a lot. It does look pretty cool, and it feels like a really solid piece. It's not of a cheap plastic that's going to break easily. So yeah, I like it. I'm going to give this one a 10. And here we have one of my favorite toys of this entire line. It's a Plush Momo doll. I love it. And you can tell that it's Momo from the movie because, well, if you look at Momo from the TV show, he doesn't really look anything like the one from the movie. His ears are a different color, and also his wings are totally white. And his tail is differently colored too. This one, the wings are brown, his ears are brown as well, and he actually looks a lot more like a real-life lemur. But you still know that this is Momo, and look at him, he just looks adorable, doesn't he? And he's soft, not too soft. It's small, so they could only fit so much stuffing in it, but I like it. It's very cute, very soft, very playful, and it has this nice little loop on the top here, so if you wanted to dangle it from your roof or above your bed, you could totally do that, make it look like he's flying around the room. I like this one, it's very adorable. I'd give this one a 10 easily. And last but not least, we have the Roku Dragon. Basically, Avatar Roku was supposed to be in the movie, but he wasn't, so they replaced him with his dragon Fang, essentially. The dragon basically acted or played the same role that Avatar Roku would have. But I wish they didn't do that. I think having Avatar Roku there would have been better. However, let's focus on the toy. The toy is actually pretty cool. It's huge. It's the biggest one out of this entire series. And the detail on it is decent. The detail on the face is alright. Has the wings, the 4 legs. The tail looks great, and it's very, very long. And of course, it's segmented. You're supposed to put these pieces together yourself. So, you know, he can slink and curve and twist like a dragon should be able to. Although it's not solid plastic, as you can see, it's hollow on the underside. So, might not want to display this upside down. Display it like this. But yeah, I'd say this is a pretty decent toy. It's huge and well detailed. I like it. Definitely not bad. Last but not least, I wanted to show you guys these cards that came with each toy. Each card came with one toy, and each card has a little blurb on the back, as well as a photo on the front. And most of them are very underwhelming photos. Some of them are just stock promotional images that you probably saw on a poster or online when the movie was first coming out. But others are rather interesting. Here's a close-up of Appa. I mean, there's the beautiful mug of that CGI flying bison himself. Here's Aang. Again, promotional image that you probably saw online when the movie was coming out. And another image that I don't think I saw anywhere on the internet, and I don't even know if this was in the movie, but Aang looks pretty cool in the back. And on the back, descriptions of the photos, pretty decent descriptions. And same thing here. We have Sokka, Katara waterbending, and then Katara again. Zuko, Aang on Zuko's ship. Zuko, this is actually from the poster for the movie. And then, here's where we get to the interesting part. Here's Aang, and there's Katara. And here we have the cut Kyoshi Warriors. The Kyoshi Warriors were supposed to be in the movie, but for some reason, M. Night Shyamalan decided to cut them from the movie. They probably would have added a little bit more, and it's a shame that they got rid of them. But this is what they would have looked like in the movie. You can see they don't have their face paint on, except for a little red slash beneath their eyes, but other than that, they look okay. I think this is the actress who was supposed to play Suki. I can't remember for sure, but I think this was her. And there's the fans, of course. Yeah, not bad, not bad. And here's the blurb on the back. Kyoshi warriors are the protectors of the Earth Kingdom. They wear green kimonos and are skilled warriors that use their fans to defend themselves against their enemies. So yeah, just a reminder of what we didn't get, but almost got in the movie. Thanks a lot, McDonald's. And those are the cards, and that was all of the toys for The Last Airbender movie that McDonald's had produced. So, I know it was about 10 years late, but somebody had to do it. YouTube was missing a complete review of all the toys from The Last Airbender, so I figured I would do you guys that favor. Hopefully you guys stuck through this long video with me, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. Anyways, take care and thanks for watching.